Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Awareness. I am your host, Vikram Prashar, and today I have a very special guest for all of you. He is an Impact Wrestling superstar. He is a former X Division champion. Today we are going to wrestle the mind with Rohit Raju. How are you doing today, Rohit?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty well myself. Weather's getting a little bit better. Things are getting a little bit better. We're well into 2021, and I think something very important when it comes to having a positive mindset is gratitude. So I think 2021 has treated us a lot better than 2020 so far. What's some stuff that you're grateful for that this year has brought you?
Things are starting to open back up slowly but surely. I'm starting to do more shows outside of Impact, which is really good. You start to see people getting out and about, especially with the weather changing. I've noticed that stores have been busier, or the gym has been busier, or you just see more people on the road or outside walking the dogs, stuff like that. So seeing people get out of their houses, being able to communicate, socialize, that's really good. That's a huge thing because obviously this time last year, people were in a complete meltdown and just a shock to the system. And now things are a little bit more normal than what they have been. So that's good to see. I like to see stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that we should all be a lot more grateful for. And I think this year could truly possibly be the year where we head back to everything returning to normal, which I think we all want at this point. But speaking of this year, throughout 2021, you have been on the hunt for the X Division Championship, and you even won the championship in some highly skilled battles against great athletes like TJP, for example. Where do you see yourself going from here? Do you want to win back the X Division Championship, or would you like to challenge for the world title?
Well, of course, the world title is always everybody. If you get in this business, and I can't remember, I think it was Steve Austin said it, like, if you don't want to be world champion and you're getting in this business, then why are you getting in it? Obviously, I want to be the top guy. I've worked myself from the bottom to the middle. I want to work myself from the middle to the top. But I also want to be the X Division champion for a second time because that's a little bit more personal for me. It was my biggest moment in professional wrestling. It was my chance finally to break out and show everyone that, hey, I'm not this low tier guy that deserves to be at the bottom of the card. I'm a talented individual. I know my worth. Now I'm going to show you my worth. And I think I did that with my X Division title run. I'm different from everybody else. I guess I'm more of an old school flavor than what's, I guess you could say, over nowadays. And that's fine by me. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be me. And I think I do that better than anybody else does. So getting that X Division title for a second time, yes, that would be on the plate. But obviously, who doesn't want to be the world champion? And if that comes my way, you better believe I'm going to take advantage of that and do what I can to be the top guy.
Of course. And you briefly touched on having a little bit of a old school style right there. And that's something that I think is really, really makes you different than a lot of other people in professional wrestling today, which is a really good thing because personally, as someone who's been watching wrestling a lot myself, that's kind of the style that I prefer. But not only that, it's just these days it's a lot different, and it's crazy because if you go back, everybody was kind of wrestling that way. So it's just crazy how things evolve over time. But yeah, definitely a good way to do it. And if I'm correct, you were born in Michigan, but you have an Indian background. And as an upcoming professional wrestler born in Canada, but I also have an Indian background. Recently on Impact Wrestling, you had a phenomenal match with fellow Indian wrestler Shera, and I'm curious to know how it feels to be representing India in a sport that not many of us gain a spotlight in.
It's actually really cool, especially having a chance to wrestle with Shera, but also kind of evolving into myself and still being able to represent India. A lot of times in professional wrestling, especially back in the day, you would automatically be stereotyped as this, and this. Impact has really kind of let me be myself with still representing India, especially now, especially after becoming X Division champion. I'm kind of morphing into more of who Rohit is and will become, which is really cool. But also being able to be me and represent India and then go on there with Shera, who's like super over in India. You know what I mean? The guy's like, if you ever look at any of his videos, it's like, oh, 2 million views. It's like, what in the world? Like, man, this dude's just like mega over there. So it's really cool to get a chance to share the stage with him, but also see how much he has improved. Being able to help him in the ring and create something special. And from what I feel has been was a good match. You know what I mean? Something that I don't think a lot of people expected to see. So I take a lot of pride in that. It makes me feel really good, and I think it made him feel really good as well. So I'm hoping people enjoyed that. And of course, now he's being a thorn in my side. It won't go away. We got this tag match coming up before the Impact meet, Hernandez versus him and Fala. But like, okay, man, like we're brothers fight. Just leave me alone. You're too big to be putting your paws on me. So hopefully I can get away from that pretty soon, and we'll see though. But it's cool to see Shira back, and I hope people realize how hard he's been working and how much he's improved as well.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. He's definitely a phenomenal talent, and that match you guys had was incredible. So I'm really looking forward to that tag team match coming up. I feel like right now it's impossible to speak about Impact Wrestling without speaking about the huge match coming up at Impact Wrestling Rebellion, as we get champion versus champion, Impact World Champion Rich Swann taking on AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. Who are you personally rooting for in this match, and who do you see winning?
That's tough. I'm personally rooting for Rich Swann because I can relate to Rich Swann. Rich Swann is the underdog in this, hands down. Everyone knows Kenny Omega. Everyone knows how great Kenny is. I'm a huge fan of Kenny Omega. I love the fact that I can, if I see him, I can talk video games with him. I think that's really cool, and he's really a stand-up dude. His in-ring work, I don't think a lot of people can touch him. You know what I mean? He's put on some great matches, and it doesn't matter who he's in the ring with. He puts on phenomenal matches. Rich Swann, on the other hand, does not get the credit that he deserves. Rich is great. Rich is flawless. He's smooth. He's like water in the ring. Everything he does looks effortless. And that's something with, I don't know if it's today's society, maybe it's more with the internet. People love to bandwagon jump. And if this person or this thing isn't loved by so many people, it's looked down upon, or it's not giving the credit that it should have been, the credit that it's due. And it's not like people don't recognize the talent, or they just refuse to recognize the talent. So it's not cool, or it's not great, or it's not whatever. And that stuff just honestly blows my mind and makes me so upset. Rich is phenomenal, and Rich can go in the ring with anyone. And he's going to prove that on the 25th of April when he steps in the ring with Kenny Omega. And people need to turn off, get the blinders off, just go in there with an open mind and stop trying to hate on, well, he's Impact champion, so he sucks, yada, yada, yada. Get that negativity out of here. Sit down and be prepared to watch a great professional wrestling match, and from both individuals. I don't know who's going to win it. I want Rich to win it, like I said, because I relate. He's the underdog. A lot of people don't think he can do it. I think he can because I know how good he is. And in the same sentence, Kenny Omega is phenomenal. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to that match. As they say it on Impact, it's definitely one of the biggest matches in years that we've had in professional wrestling.
Hands down in it. People need to realize that. They don't realize like how big this is. You have Impact Wrestling, which has been a mainstay in professional wrestling for years, and you have AEW, which is like this cool upstart promotion that has made a ton of a huge name for itself. And we're working together. Like, that's huge, people. I don't think they realize. They look for the negativities and the negatives, and there should be no negatives. It's a positive. Like, this is one of the biggest things that's happened to professional wrestling in a long time. People should realize like how lucky they are to see this in their lifetime.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think that is something about wrestling fans that I'd like to see change within the coming years, is focusing more on the positives than the negatives. Because honestly, even if we look at like the classic Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, Golden Eras that we all love, I'm sure if we go back and watch some full shows, we could pull out that negative, that negative, that negative. The reason why people enjoyed it so much is because they were pointing out all the positives. And I think if we all pointed out all the positives these days, we'd enjoy the product a lot more, regardless of what company it is. Yeah. So, yeah. Of course. So with all this being said, and with all the back and forth we're seeing with talent from AEW coming to Impact, talent from Impact going to AEW, Could we see Rohit Raju step into the ring on AEW Dynamite at some point?
I would love to. I know I saw a lot of clickbait stuff when I had said the thing about how I was sick and tired of Tony Khan, the paid advertisements, and I saw like I kept showing up on people's feeds. I was like, I'm pretty sure what I said wasn't even that bad, but people got to get the views and the clicks and stuff, so I thought that was hilarious. I honestly would love to clap back at AEW. I would love to cut a promo and kind of dig into Tony and all those guys, because what they do I think is tremendous. It's so entertaining. I want to do that as well because I know I can. I want to be part of those guys. When Impact says, hey, who do we have that can clap back at AEW? I don't want them just to always go to the same people. I want them to come to me too because I can. I would love to step in the ring. Obviously, he's doing his own thing and he's a legend. I always put it in the universe because he's one of my favorite wrestlers, Sting. I would love to wrestle Darby. I would love to wrestle Sonny Kiss. Danny Limelight is one of their guys that people need to be paying attention to. The dude's phenomenal. He's young. He's hungry. Every match that he's in, he's being creative. He's being innovative. I honestly would love to step in the ring with those guys, and I would love to do it on their home turf and show people who I am. Because I know people would be like, oh, this guy, blah, 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 that negative attitude. But I think once I get a microphone in my hand and once I'm in the ring, especially on their turf, I think I would open up some eyes, and that would help me. That would benefit me a lot, but I think it would benefit Impact Wrestling, and heck, it might even benefit AEW a little bit as well. But yeah, man, I would love to. I would love to be a part of that crossover and be a part of history.
Of course, and I'd love to see you do so. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure you would be the first person of an Indian background to be on AEW so far in their, 2-year history? So
I would believe so. So let's put that out there, Tony Khan.
Yeah.
If you're listening, let's do it. Impact,
let's do it, Tony.
Guys,
if you're listening,
guys need me over there to kind of stomp a mud hole in your troops. So let's do that.
Of course, I'd like to see it. And AEW is definitely not the only promotion that Impact has been working with, because FinJuice has won the Impact Tag Team titles and taken them over to Japan. So could we see you even on New Japan Strong or in New Japan? And if so, who would you want to face?
I would love to take somebody. I would love to take Chris Bay with me and go against the Regal Twins. I love those guys. Those guys are so talented. And I love the interactions with myself and Chris Bay. We're like, good friends, better enemies type thing. But I think us uniting and going against, even we can have TJ with us, which would be a crazy team like us who didn't get along and went for the exhibition title, go over there and take on 3 of their guys. A guy I would love to get in the ring with Rocky Romero. I've been compared to Rocky Romero a few times in my career, look-wise, movement-wise, and I've always loved Rocky's style. So I would love to get in the ring with him, you know what I mean? And heck, I would love to – I've improved so much since the first time I stepped foot in an Impact ring. I would love to get in the ring with Ishimori again. Ishimori was one of my favorite people I got a chance to work with at Impact. One of the coolest dudes, jacked out of his mind, super athlete. And I would love to take what I have known – what I have learned and what I have improved on at my confidence level now and step in the ring with him and see what magic we could do as well. So, yeah, us working with New Japan, I just think it blows my mind. That's a mark-out moment for me, so that's huge. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely loving the unity that we're seeing in professional wrestling. Who knows where this can take us? I'm hoping, because I had Mike Bennett on the show not too long ago, I'm hoping what his idea that comes into play, and maybe we can every year just get this one big super show with like AEW, Impact, New Japan, ROH all coming together and just a bunch of fantasy matches. I think that would be something very interesting to see.
I honestly think it's a long time coming for something like that to happen. People need to put their egos aside and work together for the benefit of professional wrestling. And I think that would honestly just blow the lid off of the world of professional wrestling. I think it'd be awesome. And I mean, a lot of times, a lot of us, we've seen each other on the indies. We've worked with each other on the indies, especially now the way the world and the environment is with professional wrestling. So yeah, let's make this happen. It's nothing new. And I think what it is just the corporate structures of everything when you get down to money and all that type of stuff. I think Impact has been great. The way we've been working with people, we've been very lenient, very cooperative. So let's return some of that favor and let's return some of that, and let's get everybody together and start shining everybody up.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think that's that's definitely the best way to look at it. And I think it would totally blow the roof off of professional wrestling. So I'm hoping we can definitely see that in the near future. But switching gears a little bit here, because on Wrestling with Awareness, mental health awareness has always been a topic of conversation. So if you're comfortable with sharing, have you ever struggled with your mental health, and what advice would you give to people who are watching that could be struggling?
Man, it's everyday life. A story I had when I first got signed to Impact, I was working for a company for 14 years, full-time job. I was working 44 hours a week. Any of my paid time off that I had, I would use it for professional wrestling. And I was trying so hard to get signed to Impact. And then I remember I finally got signed to Impact, and I told my job, I said, hey, I got signed to Impact. I'm going to step down in April. This was in February when I told them, because I had a bonus coming to me in April. I had a great year in 2017, so I had a bonus coming to me. Next thing I know, they started to deny my requests off. They weren't letting me go to shows. And I was like, well, what's going on? Next thing you know, my boss was coming in and being really strict on me. And I read the writing on the wall. They were trying to get rid of me. So one day they came in with human resources, and I was like, oh, that's it. They're going to try and fire me. And they had a laundry list of things. And I was like, nope, can't fire me for that, can't fire me for that, can't fire me for that. They found one thing and they fired me. And it was like a really stupid thing. And it was a stupid mistake on my part. But they could get it and they fired me for it. I was so broke leading into 2018 because we were still doing tapings in Orlando. So we would go there for like a whole week and record. But until then, I wasn't doing anything. My unemployment was blocked by this company, and I'll never forget. I was in the tapings in Orlando in April, and I remember Scott was looking for me, but I was on the phone for a court case, fighting my unemployment with these people. I remember I had no money to get a passport to Mexico because we were doing Mexico for the first time that year. I had to sell so many things. I was broke, man. I was broke. Even though I was wrestling on TV, I was broke. And it was rough. It was really rough. And it was brutal. And I just felt defeated. I felt like a loser. I felt like I couldn't do anything right. I felt like I couldn't succeed. But somehow, some way, I powered through it, made it work. And I hustled and hustled and hustled. And I found that positivity, and I clung to it, and I got back on my feet. And I've been doing well ever since. And a lot of things I do to blow off steam, professional wrestling is one of them. I get to be somebody else. It's my love. It's my passion. Getting in the gym, lifting weights. I put my headphones on. I'm in a whole different world. I'm by myself, and I'm letting go of all that anger and that frustration. Relationship issues, if I have that, get out of the house, go to the gym or play my video games. You have to do something to occupy your time and occupy your mind, but it brings it more of a positive feel, and get away from whatever's bringing you down for a little bit if you can. If you have good friends that you can rely on, talk to them, or family, but you have to have an outlet. You have to have something that's going to help you out. And that's what I did, and it helped. And people struggle day to day. I still struggle with everyday life. Sometimes, it beats me up, but it helped a lot. Just to find those positive outlets and stick with them. And that's my advice. That's what helps me.
Of course. And that's some excellent advice. And with all that being said, as a successful professional wrestler and a successful individual, what does Rohit Raju do to keep a positive mindset and stay motivated?
Friends help me out with that a lot. I'm a huge critique on myself. And for the longest time there, when you're at the bottom of a company and you know what you can do and you're not getting those opportunities, I was frustrated. I was so frustrated because I love being in the ring. I don't necessarily love everything that surrounds it. And my friends really helped me out by saying, "Hey, man, it's not you. You're having your in-ring work is great. Your promos are great. You're just not getting the break you need." And then finally, I just kept at it, and I got the break that I needed. And there's times too where I'm like, man, does the company see this? Does the company see that? And I just try to stay positive. I try to stay working. I try not to sulk and whine about things and complain about them. I try to stay focused and continue to know and do what I can do. And that's like, I have a goal. My goal is to be at the top. I want to be at the top. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to continue to wrestle as hard as I can and try to be as creative as I can and be me the best that I can and try to just be different from everybody else. And I keep those goals in sight. I keep that focus, and I make sure that my drive is always on 100 miles per hour. And I know what I want to do in professional wrestling, and I'm not going to let anyone stop me from doing it. And I'm going to continue to drive and continue to push myself. And I know my friends are there as well. And I turn to them when I'm down, and they help me out a lot.
That's some excellent advice, and I really think that'll help a lot of people out there. I thank you so much for being on the show. Would you like to plug anything, merch, social media, anything?
Well, of course, you can go to shopimpact.com. Top 5 seller, baby. Rohit Raju t-shirt. First official, not just my face slapped onto something. First official Rohit Raju t-shirt. They've been selling real well, apparently. So please continue to push this so we can get more. Of course, you can put a little bit more Skrilla in my own pocket. ProWrestlingTees.com/Rohit. I have a slew of other designs. This one, though, I'm very proud of. Of course, on my Twitter at Hakeem Zane, Raju Zane 80 on Instagram. I have a school, professional wrestling school. It is Dragon's Lair Pro Wrestling Academy in Bay City, Michigan. We've opened back up, got a whole bunch of people coming out, got new students. If you get a chance, check out my Facebook page, the Mad Dragon Rohit, or you got Rohit Raju, or you can look up the Mad Dragon Hakeem Zane. It's an older name that I used to use that's still upon there. So yeah, check that out. I'm always talking about the school. If you're in the area, if you're a professional wrestler, you just want to come roll around, feel free. If you want to live out your dreams and become a professional wrestler, come see me if you're in the area. We'll get that on point. We'll get you on point.
Of course, everybody check that out. I'll leave links in the description below. Make sure everybody checks out Impact Wrestling on Twitch and Access TV every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern until April 8th when they switch over to Thursdays. And make sure to tune in to Impact Wrestling's Rebellion pay-per-view on April 24th. Thank you so much for joining me. We have just wrestled the mind with Rohit Raju. Thank you all very much.